everyone. I hope you're all well. Thanks for tuning in with me again. I have just connected with my team. In order to do that, all I do is I simply sit and close my eyes and take some time to just go inwards, to just block out the noise of the world, what's going on around me, and to just really focus on basically the other realms. So first of all, and sometimes I'll just say this can come as whichever way it wants to, really. So there's no particular order to who we're calling first, but I try and make sure that I run through all the people in my team, my group. So I will have, say, to begin with, I might just say thank you to all my angels, which, to be honest, is somewhere I do tend to start. So I've got my angels, I've got my guardian angels who protect me, I've got my archangels who show me the greater world outside of the 3D reality. I have all my loved ones in heaven, those that have passed over. Then there's my higher self, my own soul, who I thank for awakening me on this journey and allowing me to communicate clearly with myself as well as others, for just having that ability to be open and connected, and for listening and communicating. Many years ago, that just didn't happen. I think I was probably so closed off to it that I would perhaps shut the voice out, or perhaps I wasn't even aware, perhaps I didn't even hear it. But now I know I am awakened. I am so thankful to my higher self for meeting me in what feels like halfway. It isn't just down to your soul, it's down to you as well, and your ability to be open to that, to open to receiving and communicating comfortably. I also thank my twin for being with me on this journey and never giving up on me, for never doubting the connection, always supporting me in the 5D, being present with me, and just being there to love unconditionally and to help heal and grow me. Also to my spirit guides for keeping me on the right track, for always giving me signs and synchronicities that lead me to the path that I need to walk upon. Spirit animals as well, and this was a one that it took me years to sort of get my head around that, but I think we can learn a lot from animals and just their sort of perspective on life. And my little dog Daisy, I've got a little Westie, she sits here underneath my desk where I am right now, so she's right down here having a little nap. Even her, I look at her, and each day you can take something from her sort of lifestyle and just the way she is, the funny little things she does. And I think just to tune into that, to how other people live, and that includes animals. So I do pay attention to that, and sometimes you might find you might see a particular animal or a bird frequently, and it's almost like your team are saying, pay attention, look at what that animal does, its behavior, its habits, basically how it lives, how it survives, how it perhaps integrates with the world, and there'll be a message there for you. So if you keep seeing, say, a magpie or a certain type of dog, or you're having dreams about a lion or whatever, Google it, or if you've got a book, look it up and see if there's some symbolism there. Chances are that is the spirit animal trying to come forward to you to give you strength and courage to move on in a particular direction. So I think that's it. And I always worry in case I forget somebody, and even sometimes when I do connect, I might on rare occasion miss somebody out, but they know that I do think of them. They won't be forgotten for long. They're there for a reason. And so I just say hello and thank you, and join me please now to channel a message and for love and light. Share with me what you feel we need to know today. And it's a lovely few minutes of just a little sort of introduction, a little moment of rapport and peace and stillness, and I feel the love, and I'm pretty sure they feel it coming back to them as well. And it's just that exchange, it's that connection, making each other aware that we're about to create something together. And I just thank them for being in my life always and having the patience with me on my journey, because as with anybody, you can take time to do certain parts, And I feel that personally, I have dragged my heels for quite a long time. I've taken a while to get to where I feel comfortable now in my journey. So I thank them and I appreciate the fact that they have stood by me, no matter how many times as well, they have said to me to do this, to do that. Um, the same guidance came through over and over again, and there were times when I just chose to ignore that because it was easier to just get on with, the day-to-day of life. So I appreciate the fact that they've never given up, and they will always come back with the same message, reinforcing time and time again until I listen. And it's the same with you. You might keep having this sort of subtle feeling, this intuitive knowing you need to do something or you need to change something. And yeah, you can ignore it for so long, but then eventually it will just keep on going, keep on going. It keep coming back to you over and over again, time and time, until you actually switch on and say, you know, something is going on here. I do need to do that. I need to action it. I can't ignore it or avoid it anymore. Um, and that's them persevering with you, and just having the patience as well to just give you the time to come to it when you are ready. And that's something we really need to understand here is those that are connecting with higher realms and with your team, your loved ones. um, you're not under any pressure. Nobody's going to force you to change your life or make a certain decision or do something. You can't be manipulated and yeah, put under pressure to change. You will do that yourself. You have the power and the control. You are the leader of your own life. They are just there simply to help guide you, to sort of lead you to the right signs, to get you to the path that you should be on. And we have many paths. So we start on one, and you might think, oh, I know where I'm going to go from here. This is it. This is my goal. This is my destiny. But honestly, all of us will wander away, whether that's consciously or not. We end up doing something completely random, totally different, and you think, how did I end up here? What was I doing? What was I thinking? But everything happens for a reason. We learn from that. Whether you may feel it was an error, it was a mistake, but it isn't, because it's always increasing your knowledge and your awareness as a whole, as an individual person. So everything you do, no matter where it takes you, no matter where it leads you, it will benefit you overall. But then there comes a time where you might find yourself that you've been stuck in a certain place, basically on the wrong path. You've done that, you've experienced that, you've learned from it, there's been growth there, but now it's time to get back to where you need to be. And it might be that that's the road you were on earlier, or it could be a different branch off from that. If you think of it being on a country lane, and how many windy roads there are, and then how many small sort of sharp turns off from one main road, then there are many. And some of them you almost miss them because they're so sharp. It's almost like going back on yourself. But sometimes that's the way you need to go, to come back round, to come full circle, but to have learnt so much in the process. So have faith that your guides and your team and your loved ones are there to help you with that, to get you back onto the right path, and to just direct that to the right resources. And that could be people that you're learning from, teachers, authors, whoever it is you are connecting with to learn on your spiritual journey. There will always be little signs along the way. Over the years, I've sometimes been given people's names in dreams, or I say sometimes, no, quite regularly. I'm going to sleep and I'm lying there and I'm just sort of drifting slightly, and then I keep getting given names of people, and I think, was this somebody from spirit trying to communicate? And it's taken years to work out yes or no, depending on what's going on in the energy. But sometimes it is just simply a name, and I'll write that down, and then I'll go to sleep. And then the next day, if I do research that, Google it, whatever, it's there, and it's perhaps it is a spiritual teacher, or it's somebody that's written an article about something that resonates completely with where I'm at and how I'm feeling. So little tiny things, you might think, why is that in my head? Am I going crazy here? Take note, just give it a moment and just sit with it, and just, if you're not sure, if it doesn't really resonate, and there's no understanding of where it's come from, then do just Google it and see if it means anything. And sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you just think, well, I don't know what they meant by that. But have faith in them, and explore. Don't block it out. Don't be afraid of it either, because that is a love and light sort of message. It's coming through divinely for you to help heal you and grow you and transform you. So be open to that if you can. Yeah, just just give that a thought. Even I said this the other day as well, keep a journal, keep a small notepad, whatever it is, by your bed, something so that you can record these things, because once you're open to it, they come in really, really quickly, and then they can go just as fast. And if you're anything like me, you will not remember in the morning. And it's such a shame when you know that there was something really, really powerful given, and then it's just evaporated. It's so sad. So no matter how crazy it may seem, write it down. And as I've said before, sometimes you might write one word down, and then all of a sudden you've got a load more coming, and you're thinking, oh, goodness me, you could write a book here. But there is power in that. Um, so yeah, to take note. Um, the other thing is, I think I said this the other day about dreams as well. I've just been talking to a friend there this morning, and it's lovely. She had what I would class as a visitation from a loved one who has passed over in a dream. And this is for me, it's the most beautiful thing. And you may or may not be aware if you've had one. Some of you might think, I don't think so. So for me, in the dreams, you suddenly recall that you're with this person who has passed over, this loved one, and the energy is just so vibrant. Everything is so vivid and clear. It is as clear as you and I now having this conversation, this exchange of energy, should I say. Or if like myself and my friend there were chatting this morning, we were standing there, it was real, or in the 3D it was real. And that's exactly how it feels. It feels no different than day-to-day connection. And yet, you're asleep, you're in bed, in the 3D world, this person is not there. And especially if they've passed over, your 3D and your ego self will tell you, well, this person no longer exists, so it must all be in my mind. But what happens during sleep state is we go into different levels of consciousness. We have that ability to just drop our guard and to just slowly slip into higher levels. And if there is that person in the other side that is wishing to contact you and just check in on you and send you some love, some healing, just some thought, some presence, then they will drop their vibration ever so slightly just to meet you as you go up the vibration scale. And you meet and you're connected, and it's honestly, it's so powerful, it's so real. You feel so much unconditional love. It's like they've never left. And I mean, for me personally, when I've had this happen, when I wake up and I realise it was a dream, I'm stunned, because I think, how could it be a dream? It was just too real to be anything other than that. Um, and sometimes that can feel heartbreaking. I mean, I myself have woken up in tears, because you suddenly realise that, this person has passed, and you can't have that in the real life. You can't hold that person, you can't have that conversation, that connection. And of course the pain then comes back to you, and it sinks in and it hurts. But if you can just try and acknowledge that they are with you always, and they have chosen to come and be with you, to spend that time with you, even if it might seem like it was only for a minute. Oh, like the love and the hugs and the energy that you feel around each other, between each other, it's just such a wholeness. I honestly, I mean, I find it difficult to describe. Perhaps, and I hope some of you have experienced that energy, because it is like nothing else. So just know, if you ever are dreaming about someone, and I don't just mean like, oh, you were having a dream and somebody popped in it, and you were doing something and you walked along this path, and then, oh, there was such and such, and then they were gone, and then you did something else, and then this animal came out the tree. And I don't mean like a sort of standard fragmented all over the place sort of crazy sort of dream. I mean a real deep intense connection, like you and I now engaging energy with each other. It is real, it's a visceral thing, and you can't put it into words. That there is pure beautiful love. It is just unconditional connection. And if you are lucky enough to wake up one day and feel that energy, to feel like you've spent that time together, then feel blessed, because they have made that effort to come and see you. They are checking in with you. They are missing your energy as much as you have theirs. And sometimes, it's a reminder. You might be thinking, well, I haven't thought about that grandparent for 20 years. And I mean, I know that might sound harsh, but that's life. We do sort of just get on. But sometimes after 20 years, that grandparent just wants to come and give you a hug and send you some love and just wants to bathe in an energy with you, likewise you do with them. So you can feel just so loved and protected and at peace. And having had that experience and then being able to start your day, unless it has felt too traumatic, realizing that you've awakened and they're no longer here, but for many it can feel like a fabulous start to the day because you go into your day feeling loved, feeling connected, and just feeling blessed. It's a state of bliss, is unconditional love. It is euphoric, it's higher realms, it's it's almost just like space in the universe. You feel like you're floating, you feel at peace with yourself, you're at one with everything, and you just feel safe. You're unguarded, you surrender into it, and you just fall. It is like a free fall. It's just amazing. Um, and so yeah, if you have that experience, and you might find that when this happens, it is the last dream you have before you wake in the morning. And I always feel like that's for a reason. That is so that you don't forget. They want you to know that they've been there with you and spent time with you. Um, and it's predominantly in your mind for the day then, that experience and that energy. Which is lovely. It really is. I mean, I have had ones through the night as well, which, to be honest, have been so profound that I haven't forgotten anyway. Even after countless dreams to follow, I then wake up in the morning and I just know that that happened and it was real, and it's amazing. So I hope at some point somebody does pay you a visit, and if there's anyone that you're wishing to connect with from the other side, then just call out to them. For me personally, best time for that, if you're not used to it, just before you fall asleep, consciously put the effort in to just address the person it is you wish to call in. So whether it's your great auntie or your sister or your mum or whoever it may be, just call them in. Just say hello, how are you doing? I've missed you. I'm sorry if I haven't been in touch. Um, I really would like to speak with you and just spend some time together. So if you're there and you'd like to, then I'm open to that and I would love to hear from you. Um, and just believe, just have faith that they will do that. They will come to you. And don't feel under any pressure. Don't start allowing the mind to then question how it's supposed to work, what you're supposed to do. Are you supposed to listen? Are you supposed to feel? Should you say anything else? Just go with it. Just allow yourself to go into a sleep state. Just fall deeply, calmly, naturally, unguarded, and just allow it to unfold. And you might find that that particular night, you either don't remember or nothing happens. Don't give up on it. Say it again the next night. And it might take some time until they recognize that you are trusting in them, because we can go into this journey a bit skeptical. We can have self-doubt and we can have doubt about them and their abilities and reality as well. And so if we're sat there saying, I don't, to yourself, if you're saying, I feel like this isn't real, it's not going to work, it's all a load of rubbish, then it's not going to work, is it? Because you're not open to receiving it. You're already putting a block on there. You're already questioning it and saying it's not real. Whereas if you're saying, I have faith that this is going to happen, and when the time is right, even if that takes 2 weeks, this loved one will come to me and they will have a message, and I'm looking forward to that. And and as well, if you just surrender, if you say you would like them to come forward, and then just leave it. Even, I know I've just said, say it again another night. Yeah, do that, but I mean, don't put any pressure on yourself or on them. Just know that it will come. Don't be worrying, is my point. Don't be fretting each night, oh, it hasn't happened, it's not going to happen. Just ask again. Just keep reaffirming it to yourself and to them that this is what you would like. And then just see, because eventually, once you are comfortable and at ease and surrendered with what it is you desire, it will manifest, it will come forwards. So yeah, please, if you can, if you would like to, give that a go. And you might not even know where to start. And I remember this myself years ago, and I have always spoken with grandparents ever since I was a child. It's funny because I spoke with my gran, who I had never actually met in the 3D world. So she died before I was even born, and yet she's the one person who I had a huge connection with from the spirit realm. So I was talking to her in primary school, and at one point I did think, what is this about? But I been subconsciously, I somehow believed in reincarnation and all these other things, even though I would have only been about 7. Um, but for years, as I went to bed, I would just take time to just include her in my life. And eventually, as other people passed over, that group of people kept getting bigger, and I kept adding to that. So I'd just spend a couple of minutes speaking to each and every one. Um, and I remember as things got bigger, the team itself became extended because obviously time passes and people join. Um, I do remember thinking, is this real? Am I just having a conversation in my head? Because sometimes I would have to imagine that person. I'd have to think what they looked like again. Sometimes you forget, and that might sound hard, but you do sometimes just forget. So just to go into that space of remembering that particular person, the love, the feeling that they gave, their energy, their space, and connecting with their eyes as well. If you can recall a person's eyes, that is the gateway to the soul. So if you see that in your mind's eye, it then becomes the same as it is in your third eye. You will start to see and feel and sense all of it in the outer world. It's no longer something that is just simply part of your 3D reality. It is you merging with the higher realms. Um, so yeah, just feel, just recall, just spend that time with that person in your mind, the same way you would have done had it have been in the 3D, in this human form. And then slowly over time, you find that, you don't even have to put the effort in there. You don't have to stop and think, what did this person look like? How did they used to hug me? What did we used to do together? What did we used to say? None of it's forced in any way. There's no pressure there. It just flows, and you suddenly feel that person's energy coming through. So all of a sudden you might be washing the dishes and you just sense it's your brother or your auntie or whoever, and you know that energy. It's so familiar, and especially if you have familiarized yourself with it in these dreams, sort of pre-dream states, then you know it anyway. It's familiar even more so now because you've remembered how that person felt in your space. And so then you know when they're stepping in, and even if you're not sure, even if, like, say, as I say, you're doing your dishes and then perhaps a song comes into your head and you think, that's not a song I listen to. And you might be thinking, I don't know this song. I could only get a few words. Ask them, say, can you give me a few more words, please? And perhaps, you're hearing it, but it's coming too fast. Ask them, say, would you mind just slowing that down a bit or turning up the volume, please? And if you're polite and you're asking, kindly, they'll do that for you. And it shows a certain level of trust there. You are trusting in them and this connection. You are having faith that if you communicate your needs clearly, you believe and have faith that they will honour that and they will come back to you. So it's a give and take situation. They're not just going to give it you all for free. They do make you work for this on this journey. It's to strengthen the bond and to grow you as a person and as a soul. So if something's coming through, and as I say, you're thinking, is it them? Is it not? Ask them, is that my great auntie? Can you give me a sign, please? And you might hear something, you might think that's their voice, or you might smell something, you might think that's their perfume. I haven't smelt that for 15 years. Um, or it might just be a really lovely warm feeling, like a shower of love, and that might be how you used to feel when you used to go to visit or whatever. So always, if you're in doubt, if you start thinking, oh, I don't know, ask for more evidence, ask for more signs. Never be afraid to ask for more. It's not like you're being cheeky or demanding. It's just that you need that a little bit more just to be clear, to be sure. And to be honest, that's what they're looking for anyway. They're looking for you to keep growing, to challenge yourself and to challenge them, because, as I say, if they were just to come and give everything for free, then they're not learning either. So they are communicating from the higher realms to us. And that's a skill that they need to work on. Just because you're in a soul sort of plane doesn't mean that, you're great at everything and you've mastered it all. Not at all. The learning never ends. So when we do ascend and we go back and we return, we will learn. We have many lessons still to learn. This is just one of the outlets for that. The 3D world is just one place we come to practice those things and to grow from them. So do challenge them. Make them work for it as much as they make you work for it, because they do. It is a balance. It has to be a two-party thing here. It has to work both ways. Nobody will get anything for free. Um, and don't think, oh, that's a bit harsh, why are they doing that? You would think if they want to see me, they'd come in, they'd show themselves. It's not that at all. Don't be feeling that, you're unworthy, or, they're rejecting you in any way. They're not at all. They are just there to help you grow and to heal and to awaken you to who you truly are, which is a soul being. So they are reminding you by making you work and trust in these little signs and synchronicities, and to tune into your clairaudience or your clairvoyance, whatever it may be, whichever skills you use. They are indirectly guiding you to explore those and to expand upon them. And by doing that, each of those clairs will lead you back to your home, which is your soul, your spirit, your higher self, out of the 3D form. So there, and if you can connect with all those different clairs and all those elements, all those skills, those intuitive abilities that are within you, you will remember, you will recall parts of yourself that you've just completely forgotten. And it's so sad because, as I've said before, this journey, we come into it with our memories wiped. We have a clean slate. We can't recall a thing. And sadly, because of the way the world is and society, so much of this has been pushed aside. It's been buried. It's been disregarded. It's, all woo-woo nonsense. And you think of like years ago with the witch trials and things like that, these were people that had the skills and had the ability, they had visions, they received messages and guidance, and yet they were shunned for that. They were imprisoned, they were punished, and eventually, they were tortured and killed for that, which is so sad. And that's when things just got out of control. And things began to change over the years, and then now it's at a point where, yes, people are waking up again, people are coming alive, and people are realizing that this is real. And going back to sort of shamans in ancient sort of indigenous cultures, they were the oracle. They were the person to see for guidance. It was celebrated. It was part of life, a spiritual life, a real presence with all that is outside of self. And okay, it might take absolutely hundreds of thousands of years to get to that point again, but that doesn't mean we can't try and work on our own mini version of that. And all of these gifts that we carry that are buried deep within us are there to help heal us, to grow us, to protect us, to guide us and keep us safe. And you have the power to tune in with that. Your guides and your team are there to support you and help you to embrace that and awaken to it. So if you are receiving little snippets of information and you might think, I don't know what that means. I mean, one I got for years was metaphysical. And this is early on my journey, and I remember thinking, metaphysical. I was rubbish at physics at school. What is this about? And it's like once you awaken and you think, right, okay, they keep saying it, and this is the other thing. You can ignore it, yeah. You can keep just thinking, and get on with your life and ignore what they're saying, but it will keep coming, and it will keep coming in. And even if you choose to ignore the voice that's coming through to you directly, you can guarantee eventually, if you've ignored it long enough, somebody else will start talking about, I was watching this program the other day about metaphysical physics, and you're thinking, goodness me, now they're going to get through to me via somebody else. And that will happen. If that's the only way that you're going to listen and wake up and take it on board, then they'll give it a go eventually. But they'll try you first. And again, dreams, that's another way they might try it if you're really not open to it, or you're afraid of it. But yeah, so if you're getting little snippets of information and guidance that mean nothing to you, but it just keeps on coming, and you just keep thinking, why am I thinking about that? Or why do I keep thinking I should buy that book, or go to that particular group on a Friday night? Eventually, give it a go, please, because the longer you delay it, it is just holding you back. There's a reason it's coming forward. And as I say, trust in them. Trust that what you receive is meant for you, and it will guide and grow you. Yeah, and I mean, I make it all sound like it's really easy, and of course it's not. It gets to a point where it's easy, and it does feel like water off a duck's back, and it's just second nature. But it takes patience and practice, just like anything. If you think about if and when you learnt to ride a bike, and how many times you might have fallen off, or you didn't know how to get the brakes to squeeze tight enough, or you were wibble wobbling. But if you give up, then that's it, isn't it? You've just got to keep trying and trying, and then eventually when it clicks, it fires and you just glide, you just go with it, and you speed up, and everything just gets so much easier and better, and you feel that wonderful, powerful energy. As I say, like riding a bike, or if you're a swimmer and you can glide through that water and you can feel that lovely free drive as you just power through without any effort. You can get to that point, but yeah, you have to put in those basic steps at the beginning. You have to keep practicing. You have to try your skills over and over, and just keep having faith with what you're receiving. And I think, again, it's so easy, especially when the ego takes over. It's so easy to just question what it is and think, I've been given this silly song again. I can't stand that singing. What's this about? Oh, shut up. But pay attention. Don't just think of it as a bad song that's been put in your head. Stop and Google the lyrics, because perhaps there's one chorus in there, one line, one paragraph where you think, and it rings true for your current situation. So look a bit deeper, and then also as well, if you do a bit of research afterwards, or say you wake up at a certain time of night every single night, say it is well, early hours of the morning, perhaps, say it's 1:34 in the morning, have a look at the significance of those numbers. Numbers have meanings, especially if it's for angel guidance. Have a look at the numbers, whether it's together or on their own, have a look and see if there's some message there for you, especially if it's a repetitive time and a repetitive sign. Yeah, just do that little bit of work, because in doing that work, that shows to them that you are open to it, you are open to discovery, to learning more and receiving what they have to offer. And once you start doing that, once you start making that little bit of effort, without fear as well, don't be afraid of it. There's nothing out there scary going to bite you or haunt you or get you. It's all there for love and light and for healing and for growth and expansion. But once you start doing that, they know then you are ready to receive, and they will give you exactly what you need. It's not just going to be all the little tiny little specks, it's going to be the bigger picture, the whole. And this is something else that's really important. They will only give you what you can handle at that given time. So don't feel that, if you do these things, you're going to have all of this bombarded on you. You're going to be overwhelmed with information, or it's going to be at you all the time. You're not going to have any peace. You're not going to get any sleep. That's not the way it works. They will only give you what you are ready to receive. So if you're nervous and you're in fear, or you're in self-doubt, or you're skeptical on the journey, they'll just give you tiny little bits. And once they know that you're comfortable with that, or you've tuned in on something with that's kind of resonating, then they give you a little bit more. It's a bit like having a little, excuse me, it's a little bit like having a small bite of chocolate to see if you like it. And if you think, oh, that was okay, but I'm not sure if I want a huge piece, tiny bit more, then have another little teeny bite. And then you might think, oh, that is so good, yeah, I'll have another piece, please. And it's just little bits at a time like that, until eventually they know your level and where you're comfortable, and depending on where you are in your life and your journey, and also what's going on. So if say you're having a really tough time at work or something like that, or your relationship or your family life, there's a stressful situation, then they'll give you the love you need and the support you need, but they're not going to come in and bombard you and swamp you with information if they know that you're not in a place that's open to receive, and they will leave you be. So you might find that you have periods where you think, I haven't connected with anybody for weeks. Oh, maybe I've lost the gift. Maybe I was no good at this anyway. And again, the self-doubt may come in. But just know that they are always there. They are always, always there for you. They don't ever truly leave us anyway. They're just sitting back and they're just leaving you be until they know and feel that you're ready. Or perhaps if until you ask as well, because when you ask, it is given. You will receive it. If you believe in it and you have faith in that connection and that bond, then they are always there available to help you to step in whenever you need it. And don't be thinking, oh, they'll have gone away now because they haven't been in touch. I haven't bothered for months. Not at all. They are always there. They will never, and I mean never, they will never give up on you. They love you so much. They are so proud of you, and they will never, ever, ever let you fall. They are there to hold and protect and guide you always. So don't be hard on yourself if you feel, even if you feel like, it's just too much to comprehend or to, yeah, just to get your head round. Just, yeah, if you need a couple of weeks when you're not connecting, don't worry about that. Take that, do that. As I say, you are in control here. Just, and perhaps say that to them. I'm finding this is really powerful and somewhat intense. I hope you don't mind, but I'm just going to have a couple of quiet weeks. I'll speak to you soon. And they respect the fact that you've given them that notice, you've been polite, and they know that when you're ready, you will allow them back into your life. And they will come back. Don't ever feel like it's too late or you've messed up or they're going to not speak to you anymore. It just doesn't work like that, honestly. They're lovely. They're so, so lovely. And they'll never leave you. So have faith in yourself. Take it as slow as you want or as fast as you want. Be your own guide in that respect. Gauge it the way you feel is right for you. And if there's anything you're unsure about, just ask them. Explain your doubts or your insecurities about whatever it may be, your fears, your worries. Ask them for support with that, and they will give you that help. So yeah, I hope there's something there that's been helpful for you. As I say, when I do these channelings, I don't sort of plan these in advance. I don't sit here and think, right, what's today's theme? What should I talk about? I mean, for myself, if I was to do it for my own personal guidance, I might go into it asking for help with a particular topic or situation. But for these, to share with everybody else like yourselves, I just open up and I allow them to flow through me. So I am not sat here manipulating the words or the thoughts or, the direction of the conversation. I don't have a script, don't have a plan. It is just pure channeled energy. So it is what they feel I need to share with you, what will benefit yourselves and even myself. As I said yesterday, sometimes there's little messages in there for me, which I think is lovely. It's like, thanks, I've got a little bonus there. But yeah, trust in me if you can, please, because this is coming from your people as much as it is from mine. And hopefully, because you're now connecting with me and my team of people, that will then have a knock-on effect and your team will think, wow, he or she is awakening here. If they're connecting with her, it's time for us to move in. And they'll be so, so excited to do that. They honestly, sometimes, that's another one, they can occasionally at the beginning come in quite intensely, and I think for many people that can be scary. And I don't mean it like in a really, ooh, I'm shaking with fear. I don't mean it like that. I just mean it can be a bit overwhelming and a bit, you kind of think, what was that? That kind of blew my mind. Ooh, spooky, slightly freaky, but not uncomfortable, not like not a real sort of battle to sort of sit with. It's just a bit of a sort of shake to your system. It's a little eye opener. And so if you feel that that's happening and it is just, becoming a bit, wah, just ask them to slow down, take it easy, remind them that you're new to it, or you just need to go at a slightly slower pace, and yeah, just share that as you would with anybody, in the 3D world. Don't allow somebody to just come and bulldoze you. Not that that's what's happening, but you know what I mean. Don't be pushed to sort of absorb it all straight away. Just say, I'm loving it, thank you. Can we just reel it back a little bit, please, and just be a bit slower with me, because I'm just a baby here. I'm just taking little first baby steps, and I'm not saying you're a baby, but in that respect, sometimes we just need bite-sized information. We just need to take things slowly. And also as well, if it comes in slowly and steadily and it isn't this sort of swoosh of information coming over you, then you are then able to process better. You are able to understand what just happened, how you felt, what energies were changing, and it just sinks in better. Whereas if it's all at once, you can come away from that probably not even knowing what's happened. Certainly it would be a struggle to understand it all. So build your connection, be patient with yourself, be kind to yourself as well. And you know, we all do it. We all have the ego. We all go into self-doubt and we knock ourselves down. But you know, if you find yourself saying, oh, I'm no good at this, I can't connect, or I'm never receiving anything, just remind yourself that you can and you will when the time is right. And sometimes, you know, if we're trying too hard, say you sit down and you say, right, it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon and I'm on my lunch break, and today I'm going to do this. I'm going to connect with them right here and now. Right, you might be putting too much pressure on yourself there. You might be making a demand that's too hard for yourself to get into that time frame, in that sort of zone right then and there. Whereas if you just allow and just say, just connect and just say, I am ready to receive when you are ready to come forward to me, and I look forward to that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And so it is. And then if you have set that intention and you have allowed that and you are communicating that clearly with them, then when the time is right, and when usually as well, when your mind has sort of detached from the need as such, there is no pressure, it will happen when it needs to. So I've said this before, washing the dishes, as daft as it may seem, that is a time where we quite often just sort of switch off. We go into this trance, like winding down, thinking of nothing really. We're just having some downtime. That can be a really sort of prime time for them to just give you something, song lyric, a word, a scent, a memory. Sometimes you get a memory just floods in and you think, where's that come from? I haven't thought about that for 40 years, you know. Things like that, or you've just gone out for a walk, or as I say, you're going to sleep, or you're having a bath. Times of stillness. So it's when you're making minimal effort there, and your mind's not focused on anything else. You're not overworking yourself. You're not pushing yourself. You've taken a back seat. Then those are probably the best times to do it if you feel like you're struggling. And as I say, don't be putting pressure on yourself. And if nothing's received, even in those moments, don't worry. It will come. It will happen. And sometimes it's when you least expect it. In fact, a lot of the time it's when you least expect it. So there's no point in worrying about the when and when this is going to happen, how it's going to happen, how you're going to sort of behave or react, what you should do, what you shouldn't do. Don't worry about any of that. Just release it, surrender into it, have faith, and allow them to guide you. And as long as you are open to it and you are unguarded, you're not standing there all defensive thinking, I don't know what to say. Should I be thinking about this? Should I be listening even hard? Am I going to hear it with my ears? Is it going to come through in my mind? Don't question any of it. Just allow, just simply be open, be in that floating space like energy, like I was saying before about unconditional love. If you've ever felt that, and even if you haven't, just imagine you're in water and if you've ever just floated on the water and just allow the waves to sort of crash up against your body, and you know, you're looking up at the sky or the ceiling in the swimming baths, whatever it may be, and you are just feeling, you're just so peaceful, and you've let go, haven't you? You're free. And at the same time, you are held by that water, you are protected, you know, you are at peace. That feeling, that's what you want. So in that sort of moment, you're not sort of consciously worrying about the water and what's happening around you. You're just embodying it, you're just allowing, and that's what you need. You need to just allow. So wipe out all of those worries, all of those doubts, all of those fears, and you know, critical thoughts. Get rid of all the anxiety about whether it's going to work or not, whether you're any good at it or not, whether it's real or not. Don't worry about any of it. Just simply be, and then they'll step forward. Okay, I've said it before. I hope you got something from that, and thank you so much for listening. It's always so lovely to share this with you, and yeah, I'll speak to you soon. Okay, bye.